want to play this, Eric, the referee. You talked about that 4:20 start, 4:25 start. So Dante Whitner talked about that yesterday, immediately following the game.
Our fans are tremendously loud out there, especially after giving them a day, to get some liquid in their system and have a game at 4:30. So I can just imagine how it'll be if we have a night game at home. It'll be crazy. So we'll have to continue to win, and maybe we'll get those, but the fans were tremendous.
Well, if they survive, that Ravens game end of the season's got a shot.
Yeah, well, and they were tremendous. And I can go to a couple. That first drive, I don't know what the heck the Raiders were doing. You've got Janikowski, who's got that huge leg, but I thought the crowd played big. I thought early in the game when the offense didn't get going, the crowd was huge into the game. I know everybody's into tradition, and we're used to 1 o'clock. I don't mind a 4:25 mix in there every once in a while. I really don't.
If you're not playing at 1 o'clock, that means you're a little bit important.
Yeah,
a
little bit. Yeah. You're right. And yesterday's 4 o'clock games, and I know we'll talk about the Steelers game a little bit because that game was phenomenal as well. It was cool to see the stadium with the lights on and dark, and the fans made a difference when the team didn't get going.
Well, the defense has said that all season long. And check this out. On that fake kick, hey, Risto, what did I say before it happened? Were you sitting there?
Yes.
And what did I say?
You were saying
it's a fake. You know why? Yeah. Watch Janikowski. Go back and watch the tape.
Well, Janikowski was PO'd as soon as
he was looking, and he kept looking over. He was looking at the bench.
Right? Like, what are we doing?
And I was like, this is a fake. I mean, it was obvious. All you do is look at him, and you can see it was going to be a fake.
Here's one thing I'll find positive. I don't know if Kenny will agree with this or not, because we'll get to Kenny Rhoda here shortly. Big day for the road, man. I'm excited for him as well.
Big day.
Here's the thing. We complained for the first 3 or 4 weeks how bad the defense was, how much money was tied up in the defense, how much coaching was involved in the defense. And I'll be honest, Dante Whitner is a guy I like. It was nice to finally hear his name with a big play. Joe Hayden was a guy that we've complained about all year long, not living up to the all-pro status, the money status. He had 9 tackles. I don't know why Derek Carr kept throwing at him. He made plays. I think it's easy to find negatives. I'm going to walk away and say the defense is finally playing the way that they're paid to play. Paul Kruger's paid to be a guy that hits the quarterback. He was phenomenal yesterday.
How about Mingo?
He did make a play. He did make a play.
Rough day, guys.
I can't say much positive about him.
For me, the most refreshing thing was the Kruger actually getting to see pressure on the quarterback, because I hadn't seen that all season.
Well, he had that bad back for a couple of weeks, but he was good early. I mean, remember that Saints game? I think the biggest roar we've heard from the crowd was when he almost had that safety. But yesterday, he changed the game. They couldn't block him early on, and that was phenomenal. And like I said, those secondary guys, and Gibson keeps getting, interceptions. That was a cheapie yesterday. But, I mean, is he going to the Pro Bowl or what? He's got 5 interceptions, the most since 2013.
How do you not? I mean, he's a ball hawk.
He's got to
go. He finds the ball up there. All right, let's go to Kenny Rhoda.
Hell, I'd play him on offense the way we're going right now.
I'd make him a wide receiver at this point, the way he's catching the ball. All right, Kenny, you're in today. First of all, before we even get into Browns, congratulations. Tell everybody about your new show that starts today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since I've been on the radio on a regular basis, and starting today, 3 o'clock, 1480 AM, WHBC in Canton. If you're not in the Canton area and you can't pick it up on your car radio, real simple, WHBC.com here on the laptop or your home computer, whatever, or you can go to TuneIn Radio. It's an app for your phone, the TuneIn Radio app, and type in WHBC in the search section, and it'll pop up, and you'll be able to take me with you on your phone, listening every Monday through Friday from 3 to 7 o'clock.
Big guest lined up for the first show as well, correct?
Yeah, if everything goes well, Andre, and as a host and as a former producer, you keep your fingers crossed. But Paul Warfield, right out of the gate, is scheduled to join us. Cavs GM David Griffin will join us, I know that for sure. And the funniest man in America, Frank Caliendo, going to be with us today. And we've got a couple other things we're working on for the first show.
Coming out with the heavy hitters. All right, you've got your Browns fedora on, so clearly, there's nothing clear. You tell me, what did you think of yesterday's game?
It's a pass-fail league, according to Mike Pettin, right? And they barely passed yesterday. And when you look at it, I think there are 19 out of the 32 teams that are 500 or better, and the Browns are one of them. So it's better that they're one of the 19 as opposed to one of the 30 or 13 that aren't 500 or better. I still don't think we know whether or not this is a very good football team, a playoff team yet. That is still to be determined when you consider of all the games that they've won so far, guys, only one against a team with a winning record, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep. and they struggled this week to beat Oakland, and they lost last week at winless Jacksonville. So we're still finding out about this team, but guys, they've equaled their win total from a year ago. So they're not as bad as they were a year ago. Are they a playoff team? I don't know. What I see is improvement because they are winning some of these games that they normally would lose in past years.
Kenny, let's be honest. And the playoff word, I'm glad you bring that up because you're bringing perspective to our conversation. And I think I keep going back to how did you feel about this team on September 1st?
Right.
And I'll be honest, I thought 4 to 6 wins was their plateau. They should win 7 games maybe. I don't know if they're a playoff team. They're not great. There's some things about them that are hard to watch. But at least they don't make the same mistakes that we've watched since '99 is how I look at it right now.
I had them at 6-10, Andre, at the beginning of the season. We play the schedule game. You go down, win, loss, win, loss, win, win. So looking at the early portion of the schedule, I thought they would feast on it. Pittsburgh lost to Tampa Bay. It's a game they should have won. They didn't. The Browns should have beat Jacksonville. They didn't, but they bounced back this week. And again, it wasn't pretty. At times yesterday, it was fugly again, guys.
Yes.
I mean, you've got a brand new center starting there. What's that? Your third center in 3 or 4 weeks that you've got playing there with Brian Hoyer. He doesn't have Josh Gordon. The running game obviously has taken a hit without Alex Mack. Who knew that Alex Mack may be the most valuable offensive player on the football team, right? I mean, with the way that they were able to run with him, and they can't run without him. Some of the receivers are making a few plays. Great catch yesterday by Miles Austin when he reached over the back of the one cornerback and made a nice catch. Hawkins with the touchdown grab. No surprise that Jordan Cameron can't stay healthy. That's just something we've seen and why he's not going to get a big contract in the NFL. Defensively, you guys mentioned Tashawn Gibson. He right now is the most consistent player on this football team, and he's an all-pro, a Pro Bowler right now. 10 interceptions in less than 32 games over the last 2 years. It's pretty impressive so far. But Paul Kruger, finally, the big bucks they paid him last year, he comes up and he makes plays yesterday. That's what they paid him the big bucks to do. But the play of the game that changed everything, and this is one of the reasons they brought him in here, was Dante Whitner. Yep. He made the game-changing play. I remember talking last year about DeQuell Jackson and who else am I forgetting?
TJ Ward.
Out of sight, out of mind. 43, TJ Ward, right?
Yep.
Those guys made tackles, but how many times did they actually make impactful, game-changing plays? Not a lot, Andre. And we saw that yesterday. The game changed. It's 9-6. Oakland's going in for the tie or maybe the lead at the 20-yard line, and you get that big hit from Dante Whitner, the fumble, and that changed the game. The momentum changed on that play. So some of the moves they made in the offseason last year and this year are starting to pay dividends on defense.
All right, Kenny, we're going to go to Australia here in a minute, so stand by. We want to make sure everyone sticks around for that. We're heading down to Australia to talk to the Browns backers down there. I do want your take on the AFC North right now because, I mean, you talk about a game of a single play here and there. This division is now based on that when you look at the Cincinnati Ravens game yesterday. And, I thought Baltimore had it. And then they couldn't stop Cincinnati. I know everyone's going to look back and say the pass interference call, but Baltimore had that game, and they let Cincinnati come back down the field.
And Dalton made a couple dumb plays, too. I mean, they get the victory, but Dalton, geez.
But that game yesterday, Kenny, I think is indicative of making this into a race because I think if Baltimore wins yesterday, they're walking away with this thing.
Cincinnati had the game. Then they didn't. Then Baltimore had the game. Then they didn't. Then Cincinnati had the game. Then they didn't, but then they did because of the pass interference offensive back. I mean, it was a crazy game as I was watching it. I picked at the beginning of the year Cincinnati to win the division and Pittsburgh to finish second with Baltimore and win a tiebreaker, okay? Right now you've got Cincinnati, thanks to a tie, with a half-game lead over both Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and the Browns are sitting there, a game and a half back out of first place. So right now it's up for grabs, and we're going to find out more about this Browns team, guys, on that Thursday night in Cincinnati. That's the big game. That's the one that will, for me, explain, tell me, make me believe or not believe that they are a playoff contending team. You have to be able to win a game like that, go on the road and win a game on a Thursday night in Cincinnati, and I think that's when we'll find out more about this team. But as of right now, it's up for grabs amongst anybody in the division. They're all over 500.
I didn't know the scoreboard could do points like that in Heinz Field. Jeez, what the heck happened there?
Roethlisberger.
That was amazing.
You know, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Kenny, we're going to come back to you in a half hour. Thanks, Kenny.
Okay, you got it, guys.
All right, thank you very much. I do want to head down under here because this is Eric, I got to give you credit on this one.
I'm sure this guy liked the 425.
Look at this. Okay, so this is...
Does the 425 start help them in Australia?
Well, we'll find out. This is Max Sand. He's the president of the Melbourne, Australia Browns Backers Club there. Max, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the Browns Backers of Melbourne, Australia. How many are there?
So there's 6 of us now, and actually every day I'm getting more and more emails of people who are heading down to Australia and want to catch a game with me while they're here, and the rest of us.
What made you start the Browns Backers Club there in Melbourne? Are you originally from here, or how did this get underway?
So what happened is about 6 years ago I moved over to Australia, and there's currently one Browns Backers Club already here in Perth, Australia, which is the other side. And they held a lot of events, and since I'm a fair bit away from them, it was tough for myself to get over there. So I decided to start the Browns Backers of Melbourne, which is on the other side of Australia, so we could get the people closer to me to events and so we can watch the games together.
All right, so how are you watching the game? Is it satellite? Is it on regular broadcast TV? And what's the time difference? So the 4:20 start yesterday, what time is the start for you?
So it was a 7:20 kickoff a.m. for me. I actually got up at 3:30, did the whole fantasy football, checked my lineups, watched a few other games, and then I started watching the Browns game. Halftime, went to work, and finished the rest of it there.
Nice.
All right, so when you wear your Joe Hayden jersey around Melbourne, what are people saying to you? Do they know the Browns?
They're wondering. First off, no one knows who the Browns are around here. I have a sticker on the back of my car. I have my LeBron James jerseys, every Cleveland jersey I possibly can have, and I rotate them all the time.
Let me ask you this. How big, and I know this is off topic, but I'm just curious. LeBron James, how big of a deal is LeBron James in Australia?
Listen, LeBron James is actually a really big deal in Australia. Basketball's getting bigger by the day here, and everyone's talking about LeBron.
And do people follow Delhi pretty hard over there, too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I've been trying to get in touch with Delhi because of the Australian roots, and also Kyrie was born in a hospital here in Melbourne.
That's good stuff. Best part of the game for you yesterday, obviously the 4:25 start's good for you because usually the game would start, like 7 in the morning. But what was the big key to the win for you, Max?
Oh, it had to be the Whitner hit. That was definitely the turning point of the game. You saw McFadden was catching steam earlier in that game. He was actually running pretty well, which you can do on Cleveland. But that hit, that was the turning point of the game.
All right, is he going on the clock here, Eric? Are we putting him on the clock?
We'll get it.
All right, we're going to put you on the clock here. You get to do our Browns backers rant. So you'll get 60 seconds to say whatever you want about the Browns game. We have a very high-tech clock that we use. I don't know if you've ever seen this clock. It's available on the web. Anyone who wants a countdown clock, you can just go to the website and do it. So, all right, so we're going to put you on the clock. Let's put, what are we going to put, 60 seconds on the clock.
We're getting there for him.
I know. We're just setting it up. It's a little behind-the-scenes stuff. Oh, there it is.
It's coming.
Look how high-tech this is. This is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so when we start, you're going to go, Max, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Here comes your 60-second Browns rant. Go.
So 5 things I want to talk about. The first thing is the offensive line. They're getting no push. I like to call them the Swiss cheese O-line. Defensive lines going against them are licking their chops, and we're really finding out the loss of Alex Mack is really starting to show. Consistency at wide receiver. Week 12 can't come soon enough. Once we get Josh Gordon back, we'll have a legit wide receiver 1 who opposing defenses will pay a lot of attention to and free up the rest of our guys. The defense, today it's finally showing me it's starting to look the part. Justin Gilbert gave flashes of his first-round talent. Whitner showing that he's a fantastic pickup, and they're really starting to force turnovers now, and that's how you win games. Now, the 4:25 game time, what's up with that? The NFL should have given a bigger advantage like they usually do to West Coast teams coming to the East and started the game at 1. Look at Seattle, played at Carolina today, and that started at 1.
Good stuff.
Nice job, Max. Hey, why don't you? So what time? So it's 11 o'clock there now.
Yeah, it's about 10:30 p.m. now. I've been up since 3:30.
All right, Max, you don't have to join us as a Browns backer. Why don't you call in every week? I love hearing
I
the perspective
will.
from
I
Australia.
will. We'll talk some Vegemite and football.
There you go.
All right, that sounds good.
I'll have to look that up on my cell phone, but that sounds great, Max.
Thank you.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Take care.
Great job, and I know you're on hold there for a while. That's pretty amazing.
As we move on.
Isn't Skype amazing?
Skype is amazing. Completely.